Can you agree? You shouldn't have to upgrade new goggles every time new technology comes out. Your screens work great, your antennas work great, the IPDs work great, the batteries still work, and it fits on your head. It's a pair of goggles that goes on your head. Every once in a while a product comes along which has a chance to define our hobby for years to come, and this is one of those rare occasions. So if you care about FPV, the next generation of digital FPV goggles and where it's heading, stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss this one, and I'm going to tell you everything about it. G'day, you absolute legends. Stu here from UAVfutures, and let me ask you one very simple question. Are you sick and tired of buying a product from a company, being locked into their ecosystem, only to find out a couple of generations that previous product is no longer compatible or supported with the new system that you've purchased into? Well, my friends, today we have an answer, and this one really is speaking for the FPV community. We are looking at this right here. So this is the Caddx X goggle, basically the next generation of Walksnail, and in this video we're going to be breaking it down, putting it through its paces, going through the pros, the cons, going out to the field, flying it around, having some fun, but also the big one, showing you why this goggle right here is not only doing everything today, but coming up in the future, it's still going to be doing everything that you need it to do. It is basically a future-proof goggle that you're not going to have to worry about becoming obsolete. So with that all said and done and out of the way, let's break it down, look at the text and the specs, do a bit of a tear down, show you some of its cool features, fly it around, and then an important part at the end of the video, we're going to have a discussion on why products like this really are the future for our DIY FPV hobby, and why really we don't want to be locked in to one ecosystem. Okie dokie, let's do it. So first things first, let's get this in shot in the roof cam. What it is, at its heart, it is a digital FPV goggle designed to be future-proof for us pilots out there. It's coming in at about 310, 312 grams right there. If we go around the outside of the goggles, it's pretty simple actually to navigate around. You've just got your little switches and stuff like here. 2 buttons on the top for record and to cycle through some things on the menu. We've got our antennas on the outside. Underneath, of course, this is really important. We've got AV in, so we're going to have your analog pilots covered. We also have a HDMI port in and a HDMI port out. So if you care about maybe hooking up this system to some other things like HD0 or sharing some footage easily without any hassle, we've got that covered as well. Some fantastic IPD adjustments, and not only can they focus for your IPDs, they can also move in and out. So if you wear glasses, you should be able to focus. We've got our SD card in, and then talking about the gorgeous screens in here, they are 1080p, 60 frames per second, and let me say, you are going to be getting some beautiful footage streamed back to your eyeballs. If you've only ever flown around on analog, boy oh boy, are you in for a treat. Now the big selling point of this goggle, I should say, and they also take a 2 to a 6S LiPo. I'll put that on the screen just to double check. I'm pretty sure it's up to a 6S, and we'll talk about the price in a little bit because that's probably going to blow some people away compared to some of the competition out there. But the big selling point for this, this part sort of blew me away when I saw this. This is my favorite thing about this goggle, that if you take some screws out of it, and I've really got to make sure this is in shot in the roof cam, you can unclip here, and it does feel a little bit tight because this is not something you're meant to do all the time in the field, but hopefully we can unclip this and spin this around so you can see what you are looking at right here. This is our receiver. This is our digital receiver that is capturing all your footage around from your Walksnail air units, your Avatar air units, and that sort of stuff. This here is a great receiver. It works really well. The goggle works really well. You're going to see that in the flight field. However, Caddx is a company that understands you shouldn't have to replace this entire goggle just because a new chipset comes out, just because the next generation of digital FPV comes out. What they have done with this goggle, and I've spoken to them about it, they've said, look, we want a goggle that's going to suit people for the lifetime of their FPV journey. This receiver right here, this is the first goggle where this is actually replaceable. So let's say some new tech comes out in a year or 2 years down the line, they aim to have their receivers be able to fit inside this goggle, which makes so much sense. Unlike, let me just say, I've got some right here. So this is my original DJI. This was a very expensive goggle, and it's not compatible with the latest air units from DJI. So something like that, it kind of really does piss me off. However, Caddx, not only are they trying to support as many products as they can, if a generation comes out that is no longer physically capable or technologically capable to be compatible, you can upgrade this receiver. And I got to say, for me, in the DIY hobby, that is an absolute godsend. I'm all about you guys getting the most out of it, saving your money. You shouldn't have to upgrade new goggles. Can you agree? You shouldn't have to upgrade new goggles every time new technology comes out. Your screens work great, your antennas work great, the IPDs work great, the battery's still working, it fits on your head. It's a pair of goggles that goes on your head. So why is it just when the receiver changes or the tech changes, you have to throw all that out and buy it new for expensive? No, Cadex, thank you so much for keeping us covered and saving our dollars. And I should say, speaking about that, this is where I'm really excited. For me, they asked me, Stuart, what do you think is a good price of this? And I'm not going to take any credit for this. I just offered my suggestion and I said, you know what? I understand the prices of goggles nowadays. Like if you look at the latest 03 goggles, some DJI goggles, even to get some analog goggles and convert them to digital, it really can add up. And I said, if you could, I thought a good price would be about, it had to be below $500 for me to be like, look, this is a banger. It is a no brains option for me. Would I go out and buy that? And when I looked at the sale price, fingers crossed, it is still that, and that wasn't just a placeholder. I believe it actually is $499. So check that link. I don't know if it's just gonna be a week special or an introductory special. This is Stu from the future, and this product just keeps getting better and better, but it looks like at the time just before this goes live, it might even be $459, which for me is crazy good value. But at the moment, it looks like they're coming in at below 500 bucks, which I gotta say, that's sort of the price I want, and that's what I think is going to be that tipping point for a lot of people. If you're getting more expensive than that, a lot of people will stick to analog, but if you can get it under that $500 price point, that really is going to be where a lot of people are going to jump ship. Let me know in the comments anyway, what you think the price of a digital goggle that's offering this is, and do you think it's worth buying a goggle that has these options for a future upgrade? Now, putting this on the top, clipping it in, there is two little screws in here as well. It does come, I think, with like a little cloth for cleaning. It does come with a beautiful carry case, which I want to show you. Here's one of my favorite features. And oh my God, if you're a lazy person like me, I absolutely love this. Check this out. Here's the box it comes with. Well, do you hate forgetting your antennas? I do it all the time.
Tell me that's amazing, because I hate taking antennas off goggles. Yeah.
I no longer have to take them off. It fits in the box with the antennas on there. Oh my God, thank you so much. So with that all said and done, what we should do, let's go out to the field. You're gonna wanna see some of these flights. We're gonna compare it, I guess, between some DJI, and we're gonna be comparing it to some other footage we've got Old Man Raven out in the field. And the aim is to really give you the right impressions, the right information to make this decision. 500 bucks, it's a lot of money. I understand that. I understand you guys work for that. So let's go have some fun in the field so you can decide, is this a product that I want to support moving forward? Is it going to suit my needs and all that sort of stuff? So let's go have some fun in the field before we jump back to the studio in 3, 2, 1. Boop. One of the cool things I do like about Walksnail is how easy it is to bind up on your video channels. So what we're going to do, we're going to bind it up to Raven's Mob 8. Mine are plugged in. All I got to do, so yours is beeping away.
Should be good.
All right, you press the button. Can you hold this for a second? Hopefully this is going to work. Just press mine with the good old stick. It's looking good. I'm getting some OSD coming up. Hey, I gotcha. Yep, there we go. Too easy.
So easy, eh?
All right, let's go for a flight. First things first, when you put these on your head, something that it really hawkens back to, is that the right word? Something that it hawks back to? What's the word there? Harks back? The form factor of what it was like to fly some old school Sky Zones or Onways. So when you look at something like a pair of DJIs, bear with me. All right, so we're just about to take off, but one of the things I want to mention first is I really love the form factor and the size of these. I am so sick of flying around with my big DJI goggles. I know the latest version of them is a bit smaller as well, but for me, this is sort of the size that I've always liked. It reminds me of my old school Sky Zone, Onway style. It fits very nicely on the face, and something that I think gets a little bit lost as well is really the comfort. There's no light leakage, and that used to be one of the big things that we focused on in our hobby before we moved, and we spoke about digital and latency and all that sort of stuff. People wanted to know, how does it fit in your face? What's the light leakage like? What's the light leakage like? Man, what's some alliteration? And how does it actually feel when you're cruising around? What do screens look like? And I got to say, this is right up there. Now I will need to adjust it just a little bit. It's a little bit tight, but pretty easy going right there. And you will notice as well, I do have a split right here. That's not a fault of the goggles. That's because I've been popping this off. We're going to talk about that a little bit when I show Raven some stuff. I want to get his impressions on it, but I don't want to spoil the surprise for him just yet. So all in all, let's do it. Let's see what it's like and have some fun. We're going to fly around on Raven's radio. Where's that bad boy? No, I haven't flown your radio. Oh, your arm switch for once. His arm switch is going to be on the wrong side. I've got to deal with the left-hander's arm switch.
This is like a huge radio compared to what have you been flying? The T20?
Yeah, T20 in the pockets. All right.
Do you need a neck strap?
No, I do not.
So you fucking drop that.
I'll drop it. I'll drop it and smash it. All right, you can plug it in.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, Raven. I feel bad just doing that. I'm not doing that again. All right, plug the drone in. Let's get this underway. All right.
Now, yep.
All right, we're away. So we're using the little camera that comes on the Mob 8. And it's going to be hard not to focus on the drone or anything like that and just the goggles, because it's a beautiful flight experience. Man, you've really done some work on this Mob 8. It's very smooth. But the goggles themselves, they look gorgeous. I've got mine in the 16:9, a big, nice, I think it's like 50 degrees field of view or something.
That's big.
Yeah, it is big. It almost feels like sitting in an IMAX cinema. And let's have a look at some of the details. Maybe have a look at how we can go for these trees. See if we can get your drone stuck up here. Man, it looks great. Dare I say this? Would be so hard to tell the difference between this and DJI.
And that's not the best camera for Walksnail either. That's the
Oh yeah, this is the tiniest one that they make.
Yeah, it's like the web camera basically.
Yes. So let's go for a little bit of a range flight. You're on Express LRS, right?
Oh, of course.
All right, so let's go for a little bit of a cruise out here. Of course, there's a tiny bit of wind.
You should have all your OSD.
Yeah.
Showing.
And I do like that the OSD just works natively like this. You don't have to do any muck around with DJI like you do with the DJI with the WTF OSD and all that sort of stuff. So look, we are out a fair way.
Yeah.
And there has not been a blip. Oh, got a critical when I turned around right there. But as far as the video is concerned, there has not been a blip in the picture. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The colors look nice. I'm just excited to have a good pair of goggles that, look, I've tried every single pair of goggles that I think exists. And it's nice to have a pair that I feel at home with as soon as I put them on. They look great, and they're offering quite a lot of features as well. So look, what I'm gonna do, as far as the flight experience goes, I can't recommend it enough. I would like to bring it in, talk to Raven a little bit about it, and then also show him some of the special features. I won't break your drone. It is fun to fly though. I don't want to stop flying. That's the problem.
Oh, Mob 8's so much fun.
I know, and with this is like a perfect. If someone said, "Okay, Stuart, this is all you can fly. This is all you're ever going to get in terms of video. This would be enough." I'd be like, "No worries. No, that's all good. I don't need to upgrade from this." But thankfully, look, Cadex is thinking further in the future, and I think it's only going to get better from them. So yes, a massive thumbs up. I'm going to bring it in. Your battery's still on 3.66, so that's basically about perfect. Let's see, where would you like me to land? Let's see my piloting skills.
Maybe the blue chair?
All right, here we go. Oh, I wanted to go backwards. Oh, that's not the answer. There we go.
Oh, that's right.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you unplug your drone so it
yeah.
doesn't overheat, because that is important with digital.
This camera to you.
And then, thank you.
There you go.
All right, so I don't even know if this is in focus. All right, do I have any marks on my face or anything like that?
Yeah, so
Under here, would I say?
along here.
Okay, all right, so
your eyes.
it reminds me a little bit, so I feel like the DJI goggles or some of the others sit on your face. These ones remind me a little bit of like swimming goggles, where they have a close fit. So I wonder if
Actually see.
you can see some marks
Sorry for
across
the
there.
close-ups.
Yeah, gee.
But yeah, I can show you.
Oh, anyway,
can
so
see the marks.
yeah, okay. I think maybe you could loosen that, or maybe there'll be some different foam functions in the future. I'm not too sure. It's not bothering me, but be advised, if you prefer that goggle that just sort of hangs on the front of your face, this is not it. This feels like a lighter pair of swimming goggles, if you so to speak. Now, of course, not as tight, because they're not going to be waterproof or anything like that, but yeah. Now, here's the part I'm excited about. We're going to hand it over to Raven. We're going to get his impressions, and then I want to show him that little sneaky surprise that I think he might be interested in. Okie dokie, Raven, it is about your turn to rip these things around. You saw them for about 1 second on the bench. You haven't flown with them.
No.
What's your impressions so far before you go for a flight?
So the first thing I said to you was, oh my God, they're way smaller than I thought they were going to be, because I honestly thought it was just going to be the original Walksnail goggles.
Yep.
Maybe with some LEDs or something, but
Okay.
no, it's a completely different style. And like you said in your review part, it actually hugs your whole face, and that's what we want, because you don't want light leak. So goggles like the DJI goggles,
Yeah.
or even
They're massive, aren't
my
they?
original Sky Zones, which I fly the VRX on, there's
Yep.
always light leak. I use bits of foam and tape, and I know
Yes.
DJI goggles, there's always people going, this
Yeah.
foam doesn't work, this foam
There's
works.
like extra optional foam
So
you can buy. Yes.
It looks like all these manufacturers, and look, Sky Zone did a good job, but they kind of all forgot what you said. It has to be comfortable, and I think maybe, Walksnail's done it.
You want me to take some of those out of your hands?
Yeah, so I'll put these down so I don't drop them.
All right, I do want to show you a little bit of magic right here. So I haven't mentioned this yet. This is why this looks so jank. If I can
Yeah, I kind of wondered that.
pop this open in the field, and it does normally have some screws,
Yeah.
but I've taken them out. But this right here, one-handed, before we break our goggles, there we go, brand new goggles down the toilet. But this right here, the viewers would have seen it, but that is the receiver. So the idea about these goggles, as far as I've been told from Cadex, is they don't want you to buy a new set of goggles every time you get a new iteration of
It's a
technology.
waste.
Yeah, it is.
It's
They've
a
got good
massive
screens, it's got a good form factor, the antennas work, it's got a good interface. But you might, if you get new chipsets or some new tech that comes out and you do need to upgrade, they want you to just be able to upgrade the receiver unit and still use your old goggles.
Which shows that they're actually thinking about us as hobbyists, because goggles for me was always, I'm not wealthy, so if
Yeah.
I buy a set of goggles, I'm thinking of 4-5 years maybe they're going to last.
Yes.
And my Sky
You're still
Zones,
using Sky Zones, they're your original.
I'm up to 4 years on my Sky Zone, so
Yes.
for me, I like to get my money's worth. And if I buy a system like Walksnail, if I have to buy a new set of goggles every year or 2 years, that's just not feasible.
Which
And
is
I
kind of what's
probably-
happening with DJI, with the O3s
It is.
and O4s
It is,
and
and we all-
OB1s.
And we all know DJI, they've got the gear, but you're going to have the cash to keep up with it. So if Walksnail can support hobbyists on a budget,
Yeah.
and you've still got digital, then I mean, yeah.
I want to say, I think this is very pro-consumer. They didn't
Oh,
have
it's
to
amazing.
do this. They could have made some
Yeah.
moves to say, hey, buy new goggles. This is going to be our moneymaker. But this is very pro-consumer for us as hobbyists. And Cadex has been with us for a long time from the start. They're not just a big company. They've had their ups and downs. They started cheap, but here they are still in this market looking, I feel like they're looking.
And this week that we're looking at this is the week that DJI has come under fire for maybe doing some bit of antitrust stuff where they don't want, so GEP-RC and
Yes.
other suppliers being forced to only use DJI, which is quite scary as a hobbyist. As someone who's part of the FPV hobby, none of us like that stuff, and you've got to choose at some point. So do you like DJI? It's great, they've got the best stuff, it looks the best, but you also have to support the people who are going to be there in the future, and that's Cadex.
I actually made a video about this, reminding me a long time ago when DJI first came out, about the warnings of just one digital system to rule them all and a monopoly on that. Anyway, we're getting distracted, a little bit political.
I can't wait to try them.
Yeah,
I've been like, there's been a lot of hype about these goggles.
Yeah,
so
and there hasn't been too much information as well. They've
No.
done pretty well regarding the leaks. So if you can clip that in, it does just clip in the top like that.
Sweet.
That's all flush. Let's do a pack.
Beauty.
Fly around, have some fun.
Okay.
Watch this for a joke. Radio, Raven?
Oh yeah,
brother?
what do you think? What do you think, mate?
Oh, that's good. Here, do you take this? Oh!
I'll catch it.
Plug this. I think they take a 6S too, so they can. So you're not going to fry.
Jeez,
This is not a
I hate
6S.
plugging 6S. I know,
Yeah,
I
this
know.
isn't, but it is nice to know if you accidentally do it, you're not going to fry your goggles.
People who plug
put that-
6S into goggles, they're masochists. Like,
Yeah, yeah. What are you doing to
It's
yourself?
the stupidest thing for people to like moan about. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'll take
there a
it if
power
I do
button?
it by accident. No, there's not a power button. I
good.
do have this strange bit on the side which looks like a power button, but it just means like stick power here.
Oh, it's
So
not
it could
an
have just been a
actual.
sticker. It's not an actual button.
At least the arm switch is going to be on the right side this time. I won't have to worry
piss
about
off.
that.
It's on the wrong side, which is the left
Oh
side.
no, this is so loosey goosey.
Oh yeah, too loose. Of course, you've got your diopters and also your IPDs.
That's good enough.
They've also got a test page which I quite liked. If you go into the menu and you want to focus your goggles, it's got like some text and everything on the screen you can read.
Alright, we're overheating,
All right,
so I'm going to get
you
up.
go
and-
for a flight. I might start the recording. Are they flashing at all? Recording in the top right.
No. It seems what we
They
got right
both
now.
flashing, or at least the goggle unit.
Yep.
Okay, so you've flown your drone 100 times. That's not what I want to talk about. I'm not talking about your jank radio, mate. I'm talking about the X goggles. How are they on the face?
Oh man, like see, for goggles it's all about, if you're not thinking about it, they're comfortable. And I haven't once thought, maybe they're a little bit tight on the nose.
Okay.
But I think you need that to not have light leak. Like you can't have sloppy bits of crap hanging. Like the DJI goggles for me always felt like a bit of loose undies hanging off your face. Because they're just, I don't know, they're sloppy.
Did you
like
not, you mean the DJIs, these ones? What do you think about these ones?
yeah, see these don't feel like dirty undies. These feel bloody good.
Okay, all right.
And that's the thing, I'm confident, I'm not worried about. And like compared to the 03, so I'm flying my VRX,
Yes,
you know,
yes, you've
Walksnail
got your-
VRX with the 03.
Yep.
It seems fine. Like it doesn't seem, and look, it's the same camera, so we're not going to get completely different images with different goggles, but
Sure.
it seems smooth.
And what about the field of view? You like it?
Really good. So the 03 for me, I think I've got 34 degrees.
Yeah.
This is what, 50?
Yes.
There's a big difference, yeah. And some more that, like you said, that IMAX kind of cinema stadium kind of flying you can do.
Yes.
Where you get more, and it's 16:9, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can change that too.
Okay.
And also, I should say, I quite like this, but I don't know about you, how you can just put them straight in the carry case with those antennas on. Like that's.
Oh
one of my
yeah, I
favourite
wanted to
things.
mention that before. When you told me that, that's amazing because I hate taking antennas off goggles.
Yeah, can I just say the amount of times that I've gone to the field, this happened the other week, and it's like, oh, got to drive home, I forgot my DJI antennas. So I do like you can just keep these antennas on here.
You are chronic for that. Like they're like a Stu, like a goggle book for you, Stu. So
Yeah, thank you very much, Cadex, for thinking about me. Are you getting any breakups in the picture or anything?
no, nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that. I'm not feeling any latency, and yeah, I'll put maybe 200 packs through this Mob 8,
Okay.
so I know it really well.
Oh man, that was pretty close to me. Yes.
So I know it really well. No, really good.
Alright.
Again, if I'm not thinking about it, if I'm not moaning about something with the goggles, then it just means that they're good. And
Would you happily fly this every day?
oh, definitely.
Is this a step up from your old analog goggles with the AV input?
Well, yeah, in saying that, I was really grateful to get the VRX, so I will make anything work. I'd be happy with these too, but these, yeah, I mean, they feel really good. And if you're wearing goggles all day, they have to feel good. And it hasn't been since, I think, the Onways.
Yes.
Remember, Onways were light, and they were probably the last goggle that was actually quite small.
Yes.
This is almost feeling like they're the Onway kind of like
Yeah.
shape and style.
It is. I got to say too, actually, thinking about this, I can't really hear the fan too much. I know it's going,
true, actually.
but it's not whirring
I never
away.
thought about
yeah,
that.
so there we go. That's another little bonus.
Because usually that VRX, I'll be on, that one is quite loud.
Yes.
I mean, those noises don't bother me. I know some people though. If that bothered you, yeah, the fan noise is actually really not that bad.
Are they fogging up or anything?
No, not at all. And it's quite a hot day here today.
Yeah, it is pretty muggy on the coast.
A bit humid.
All right.
And let's just go over the water, just to finish it off.
I'm going to let you bring it in, and then we'll sum up your final thoughts. Let's see how good your landing is then.
All right.
Where are we going to land?
Where are we? Blue chair, I think.
I don't even know where you are. Oh,
I
there
was
you go.
just cruising. This Dogcom battery's been doing alright too. Alright. I'll come around and...
All right, let's go in the blue chair. I don't like how you're so close to me. Okay, a little bit better landing. I'm going to unplug so your drone doesn't cook.
Thank you. Because you definitely had them like...
No,
yeah?
you don't have them on your face. You have a tiny little bit. I just want to touch your nice nose there. Sort of where if you're wearing a pair of sunnies. You know, if you're wearing sunglasses,
there, yeah.
you'd have that little mark.
And that's probably where I felt it a little bit.
Okay.
But again, you need to be tight on your face to not have light leak. And
Yeah.
what would you rather have, a couple of marks or a crappy light leak all the time? And
Yeah, I
I've
would
seen
take
people have
marks.
to wear like whole hats and
Yeah,
stuff.
I've seen people put whole like hoods over their
Hoodies
head
and stuff.
everything like that.
But
All right.
you can see the cup. It's that cupping style.
Yes.
So we're used to a different type of faceplate with the foam,
Mm-hmm.
whereas they've actually got. And look, we'll come out with different options for it.
Now the price. I don't know the price. It has yet to be confirmed.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
they're not going to be. They're
They're
high-end
not.
goggles.
They're not a budget-based version.
No.
Of this is some latest tech, digital competitor to DJI. So
built to last, but like
also
you said, built to
upgradable.
last. So
yeah. Well, not built. They are built to last, but built to be future-proof.
future-proof, yeah,
Yeah,
which is
so-
massive. So if you can get an extra 2 or 3 years out of a goggle, it's costing you 600.
Yep.
You're breaking it up by the year. So that's all. If I paid 400 for my Sky Zones 4 years ago, it's about $100 a year for flying, which isn't bad.
Yep.
But if you're buying $600 goggles every 2 years, it's $300 a year.
Yeah.
That's how I sort of see it.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure on the price, so I don't want to comment anything like
No.
that. I'll talk about that obviously at the end
Yeah.
of the review. I'll be able to put it on the screen.
I don't think they're going to be cheap, but I also have a feeling maybe they're not going to be ridiculously expensive as well. It just wait to be seen. Of course, you can put in your analog and everything like that in there.
Yeah.
HDMI in. Maybe you could run your HD0 into these goggles if you had a spare receiver or something like that. And you've got HDMI out as well.
It's got RGB.
Yeah. I'm yet to figure out how to change these colors though.
I swear I saw
in the menu,
green.
I've been mucking around with it and all that sort of stuff.
Is it green?
So, yeah, I know when you're booting it up, but I want it to do some cool stuff. And I should say too, there is the possibility that we will be able to get a receiver bay, maybe with this 3D printed top plate, so you can plug in your old analog video if you wanted to.
And that goes AV.
Unofficially, there's a discussion I've been having with CADX and been talking about that. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but even if they didn't, I could, with my poor 3D printing skills, could figure something out to put something in the top.
That's the great thing about this hobby. Like, even if a product's not 100% perfect, not saying this isn't perfect, there's always like amazing minds that make it better.
Okay. Anything you don't like about it before we wrap this up?
No, I mean, I don't own them, but they're not mine, but they didn't send me a pair as well, I don't know.
Yeah, that's I gotta say, that's when I think you know a product is really good, when you say, is there anything you don't like? And you really have to think and it sort of stumps you. So.
And the biggest thing, like you said, I didn't mention it myself, is if you can put these in a case with the antennas on, that's huge.
Yeah, that's great. I like that too.
I think that's my favourite part, actually.
Simple thing.
Not massive, but you know.
Too easy. All right, no worries. Thanks very much, man.
Sweet
and we'll see you guys back in the studio.
So with that field test out of the way, this might be a good time to mention, if you are still watching, this took a long time to make this video and I want to get it right. I want you to have the right information. So if you are thinking, Stuart, this video is helping me make my mind up on how I should spend my money. I understand everybody works hard for money. I'm trying to work hard as well. And if today is the day when you think, you know what, Stuart, I would like to support you on Patreon. I love what you're doing and I appreciate the content that you're making. Well, sir, or lasses, thank you very much. The link's going to be down below. And if not, and you're simply watching this video, well, maybe in the future we can get you over there. Anyway, continuing with the goggles, some things I like, some things I don't like, and also some important information which might make up your mind if you're on the fence of should you jump to CADX, should you go DJI, all that sort of stuff. Number one, there are some cosmetics and things which I didn't mention at the start of the video. You can change the LED function if that floats your boat. Now there has been a firmware update, you can change the color. Does that bother me? No, I don't really care about, I guess, the LED on the front. It might be a nice feature for some. However, the update that it came with, I was a fan with. So CADX has, and this is something I think is important, they have been releasing firmware updates thick and fast. They've been coming in constantly and they have fixed a few bugs. So I really do like their support. You don't have to wait for too long before they can fix a bug. Well, that's how it seems anyway. So far, my only issue I had was with one of the old firmwares where I could not get my AV input to reliably work. I kept getting some blue screens. It depended on which sort of receiver I was using. However, with the latest one, with the latest update, I've had no problems. I've been flying around rock solid getting some AV analog in. So if you would like to fly around with some AV analog, that has now been fixed. Speaking of that, what I would like to see, and this might actually happen after having a little chat with CADX, and if not officially, I'm sure someone out there with some great 3D printing skills can do this. This right here, this is my receiver. What I would like to see is simply a bay for me to be able to click my goggles. We'll get this in the roof cam, to be able to click my goggles in here with my receiver, my analog receiver, so it has a nice little housing. I think it fits really well there. So then this can be my goggle to rule them all. I can fly around digital, I can fly around analog. But at the end of the video, check this out. It is filming on my phone. My video is basically all done, so sorry about this part of the audio. This is the bonus. This front plate, I knew we could replace these receivers, but it looks like these front LEDs can come off, and there is 2 screw holes here which are threaded for enabling a screw, for attaching something. So that makes me believe that faceplate we were mentioning at the top, where you can mount your RX for analog, this is where it's going to happen. Well done. Well done. Awesome little surprise right there. Man, I love CADX. They're doing some really cool stuff. And then the other part that I want to mention as well, I actually would like to see this as an improvement. I had a bug with my IR sensor. So what this is, when you put it on your face, it can tell you if, it can basically tell if it's on your face or not. Should it have the screens on or should it save some battery power? For me, since the latest update, I've had to go in and turn that feature off because it will periodically turn itself on, and it will turn that feature on, which turns the screens off, which basically means when it's on my face, it's not recognizing that. So hopefully that will get changed in the future. Very easy to turn that off in the menu. So I just went through into the display and clicked, I think it's like screensaver or proximity detection or something like that. Just turn that off if you are having that problem, but it'll probably be fixed by the time you're watching this video. Now here's the final part, and this is the really important part. We are at a moment now in our hobby where we need as much diversity as possible in our products. Digital FPV is ruled by, I would say, one company that got to the market first. That was DJI, and I don't feel like DJI cares about us FPV pilots. We have Cadex, which, and I know there's bad blood between Cadex and DJI because one company, I'm going to, and not like they stole, but it is a very grey, sore area between the two companies, and I'm sure there is bad blood. But we have now the Walksnail or the Cadex system, and there's also HD0. Now, my only experience with HD0, I've got this receiver right here. HD0 seems great for racers. Digital and DJI, they are good, but it is a closed ecosystem, and they didn't even give us an OSD for the longest time. They don't make it compatible between one generation and the next generation. This right here from Cadex, of not only being a good price, is also thinking about us in the future. They're not trying to nickel and dime us and force us out of our cash only to have to upgrade again in the future. They're giving us a goggles with good screens, good fit, everything I like about it now. It's a top-notch goggle with some great digital feed, but there's going to be potential in the future to upgrade, and that's really important for me. For our hobby, I want us to spend our money the most value-wise that we can. Not everyone has buckets of money. If you do, good for you. But if you're one of those FPV pilots out there who you got to save up, I know what it's like trying to scrimp together those dollars and thinking, can I justify that? How long is that going to last me? Well, I got to say, for me, 2 thumbs up, it's definitely got you covered. Now look, stay tuned because we are going to be doing a complete teardown, working on a receiver change in this, showing you a whole bunch of guides and those sorts of things, a big video between DJI and Cadex and HD0. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content. If you do decide to join my Patreon, and today's the day, bless you, it is greatly appreciated. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to do these videos. And the most important thing, be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. And as always, happy flying. Double thumbs up, Cadex. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. This is part of the hobby that I want to be in.